All right, man. Y'all know what time it is. It is Monday night, and we are back with another episode of the Reentry Journey. I am your host, Cardell Sims. Tonight, we got a guest that got a. I was reading the bio, and I was just like amazed how she came out on top after everything that I've read that she's been through in this bio. Um, I'm not even going to waste no time or anything, and I'm gonna let her come to the floor and welcome her to the Reentry Group. Welcome to the Reentry Journey podcast. We appreciate you coming on, giving us the opportunity to hear your story and how you overcame everything that you came. With no further ado, I'd like to welcome the audience to Miss Blossom Rodgers. Introduce yourself.
Hey, how you doing? Listen, first of all, we're gonna have a good time because you know what? If it wasn't for God, we wouldn't be sitting here.
That's
So
right.
I thank you for allowing me to come and share this platform with you, and may God show you favor for being obedient. I tell a lot of people, I have people saying, Blossom, do you have an agent? No. The same energy I used when I was out there on drugs, knocking on the doors, can I do this or can I do that or can I get a hit here? It's the same way I do now when it comes to me sharing my testimony. So I'm still a hustler. I just hustle for God now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So my name is Blossom. That's my birth name. God bless me. I am the author of 4 books, From Under a Bridge 1, From Under a Bridge 2, and They Laugh and When They Laugh. I was on crack cocaine for 19 years. And you know what? I tell everybody, I liked it smoking crack. I just didn't like the consequences that came with it. When you can be real with yourself, you can be real with anybody else. Tonight, one thing I want you to know is I'm not ashamed of nothing I've been through because I wasn't ashamed when I was out there, so I shouldn't be ashamed now to tell my story. I love telling my story because it just reminds me of how good God is. Like I said, I smoked crack for 19 years, but I have 16 years clean. I am the mother of 3 grown sons, 12 grandbabies, and I just had my second great grandbaby. In my books, I talk about what led me to smoking crack. It's 2 things that people don't like to talk about. That's molestation and mental illness. And God brought me through both of them. So if y'all ready, let's get ready for this ride because
yeah, man, I'm telling you, it's a very interesting story.
Yeah. And I had a plane ticket. I went all the way around the world and didn't even have a plane ticket. But I talk about in my books what led me to smoking crack cocaine, and that was being molested. You couldn't go to the schoolhouse and tell nobody that this is going on at your house because I was raised whatever happens in the house stays in the house, and we're just as sick as our secrets. Okay, so I also talk about how I got pregnant at an early age, and one thing that God had to teach me was because I couldn't talk about my abuse. You just didn't talk about stuff like that. But God had to show me how to forgive my abuser, and then He had to show me how to forgive myself because I know that man didn't grow up saying he wanted to molest a child. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want to grow up being everything but the child of God. So we have to learn how to forgive ourselves. We could be our worst enemy at some time. So I also talk about how I got pregnant at an early age, how I got married at an early age, and how I got with the guy who was already on crack cocaine, and he had started beating me and taking my money. I said, well, if I can't beat him, I might as well join him. Because you know what? When you've been, your childhood has been snatched from you, you become a people pleaser. You want to fit in so bad because you just don't know what's going on, and I have to be careful of that today, being a people pleaser, because, if somebody don't tell you you're doing good or I'm proud of you, you'll get caught up into that situation, but you got to encourage yourself and you got to love yourself. I think that's why I went through a lot of stuff because I didn't know how to love myself. You know what I'm saying? I was showed love the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? I like, how on Little House on the Prairie, how Mary or Laura be playing with the guys, Mr. Charles and all that. My mind would go saying, don't sit on his lap because he's going to do this to you. He's going to do that. So I had to be, you see what I'm saying? Because That's what I was shown as a child. You know what I'm saying? I thought that's the way that a daddy's supposed to love a little girl, because that's who I thought my daddy was. So we have to be retrained, our mind mentally. We have to be retrained. It's an innocent thing, Little House on the Prairie, but my mind went all the way back to when I was a little girl, when I sat on the lap, what happened, and all this kind of stuff. Alcoholism. I'm an alcohol, then drugs. Okay. That's why I don't play with wine coolers, because if I drink a wine cooler, then I'm going to Captain Morgan. Me and Captain Morgan, we had a lot of good times out there. Then I'm going to
yeah, man, someone with your leg up on the thing.
yeah. And right. And then I'm going to smoke crack. So I don't play with stuff. Now I got a lot of friends that can take wine. You know how to go painting and sipping.
Yeah.
If I do that, I'm gonna end up drinking the paint. So I don't fool with none of that.
Right.
And let me tell you one thing. You gotta know what kind of laughter you're dealing with. My third book is called And They Laugh. There's two kinds of laughter that we deal with. Are they laughing with you or at you? Tonight I know you're laughing with me. You know what I'm saying? Because I did some funny things out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm homeless. We out there robbing another homeless man. You know what I'm saying? Doing stuff like that. But that's how the drugs had me. Like I said, so in book number 2, that's where I talk about how I've been to prison, 58, 99, 31. That'll be my number for the rest of my life. It's just not a functioning number. I went to prison, and I'm originally from Florida. So when I went to prison, we was chopping trees, one girl on one side and girl on the other side, So I was trying to sweep the other day and was almost out of breath. So I know I can't go back to prison chopping no trees. So that's why I don't get in no trouble.
Right.
But you know what? While I was in prison, I lost my brother, and I couldn't come home to the funeral. So I used that as a crutch to continue getting high. Mm-hmm. I had never, my great grandmother raised me. And when I was coming up, you know how some children fall in love with a horse on a merry-go-round or a parade? First time I fell in love with a horse was Colt 45, because my great-grandmother was taught that if a child had wingworms, you give them beer, and that'll kill the worms. Well, we know that didn't work, so Colt 45 was my medicine. So I started drinking at the age of 5. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So like I said, I don't knock nobody who can drink. I know I can't drink. You know what I'm saying? You got to do what's right for you. I also talk about in the book how God delivered me from a homosexual lifestyle. I'm not knocking nobody. I'm talking about Blossom's lifestyle. Nobody else. I can't judge anybody, but I knew that's not of God. But I had been molested and raped, and I thought going with a woman was better. But, as we know, that's not of God. I also talk about in my book how I had a man to leave me for another man. This brother was fine as all outdoors, but he left me for another man. So, my self-esteem was this big then. I also talk about in the books how I was an unfit mother. I was not that kind of mother that was like on Leave It to Beaver, who had on the apron and was ironing and vacuuming. I sold the iron and the vacuum, so I ain't had nothing to clean with anyway. So, but you know what? I thank God for my mother and my great grandmother. They stepped in and raised my kids. And I'm just saying this to somebody out there, because you know what? Once we have put them children through a lot, we got to allow them to come back on their own. They're just not going to come back and say, oh, mommy did. Because I was the kind of mama that popped in and popped out. But now I have a relationship with my sons. They're all grown. It took a minute, before they could stop looking at me sideways like, oh, there she go. Oh, wait, put your purse up. Because I was that kind of mama. I stole from them. So, and I want somebody to hear me too. Once we apologize, we don't have to keep apologizing over and over again. And don't never say you're sorry, because there's nothing sorry about you. Say, I apologize, or please forgive me. Well, I had to learn that, because each time I thought that they were still mad at me, I was going back out there smoking crack. And one thing I was trying to defend and prove that I went through the molestation. Now I've learned, long as I know, knows and God knows, that's all that matters. And anything that we do for the Lord, it's going to last. Okay. Right. So I'm just throwing it out there. I also talk about how when my brother died, I was in prison. I couldn't come home. So I used a lot of things to continue to keep getting high. But until we get to the root of the issue, that's what stopped me. My root was being molested. I couldn't talk about it. I also talk about my times in mental hospitals, where they had me on in Florida. If you have an addiction, they consider that a disability. So I was getting a check, and then they messed around and sent me back money. And when they sent me all that money, it was so much of smoke coming out the hotel room. You thought we was Indians up in there. Cause yeah. So I blowed a lot of money when I was out there. I was smoking $500 to $600 a day or more. You know what I'm saying? Too scared to live.
So what do you think was sending you, back into that phase, like every time?
Because nobody didn't want to hear, or nobody wouldn't let me talk about my molestation. Nobody, they just try to blow it off, and that's what they did back in them days. Them older folks, they say, "Oh, girl, he didn't mean that." Well, you got to remember too that we got generational curses too that come down. And like I said, because I couldn't talk about it, I had to be quiet. And every time I smoked or I drank, it made me forget for a second. As we know, once the high is gone, your problem's still there. I didn't start dealing with the molestation part until I started going in and out of the mental hospital. And I was doing that so I could keep my check going, so I'm still a hustler, you know what I'm saying? So, but then all that time that I was playing, I was starting to catch on to things. And the people never was listening to me, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I was able to start talking. They were telling me, Blossom, it wasn't your fault, and that's what we have to remember. The enemy starts when we're younger because they already peeked into our future and they already know what God has in store for us. So if I can destroy this person at a young age, they're not going to accomplish what God wants them to do. So we got to continue to keep on. I'm not saying it's easy. Don't get me wrong. But you got to continue to keep pressing. You got to encourage yourself, because if you don't, everybody's not going to pat you on the back and say you're doing a good job. You know what I'm saying? Like how you got your podcast. It's a blessing that you allowed ex-cons to come on and share their story and stuff like that, because, that's what they're going to always consider us is ex-cons. They ain't going to amount to nothing. They're not going to do nothing, but we can prove them wrong. Instead of fighting one against each other, let's work together and accomplish something, So that's why I don't have a problem with asking, can I come on shows and tell my story? Like, God bless it, open the door. When I was on Pastor Clifford Dollar, that's a millionaire. Back in the days, I'd have sold his shoes. You know what I'm saying? So, but God blessed it. I was on the show with him. Right. I'd have sold his shoes, the furniture, and everything on the set. But God allowed me to be myself, and Pastor Dollar allowed me to be myself and just tell my story. You know what I'm saying? You just got to, don't look at the people's faces. Just tell them what thus said the Lord. God kept us here for a reason. I know he did with me, because I was smoking so much dope and then started robbing people. Then out there in the middle of the night with different guys. Somebody could have killed me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But God kept me. I also talk about in the books how I was involved with the guy who was HIV positive, but he never told me. We never had safe sex. But God, I'm 16 years clean. I don't have AIDS and I don't have HIV. And that's by the grace of God. You have a lot of people always say, oh, your immune system was so strong. No, that was the blood of Jesus that covered me. Unfortunately, he died 10 years ago due to complications. So God got me here for a reason. Now, am I perfect? No. But do I serve a perfect God? Yes. You know what I'm saying? And I literally lived up on the bridge in a 1993 dynasty. And when I didn't have a place to stay because people couldn't trust me, or I couldn't find nobody to trick with to get a hotel, I would pull my car up on the bridge and get in the back seat and go to sleep. But at nights, some nights I was crying because I didn't have crack. Some nights I was crying because I was on crack. And I remember hearing them cars going across the bridge, and them people were up there living, and I was down there dying. And we all got a bridge. My bridge might not be yours, and yours might not be mine, but we all got a bridge, and we got to come from up under that bridge and live. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yeah, and like I said, they're gonna talk about you regardless. Give them something to talk about. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I said, I don't smoke crack. I don't drink, but I still know how to fight and I still know how to cuss you out. But I choose not to. Okay,
Right.
don't get it twisted. Now you know
Right.
I'm saved. I'm saved, right? No.
All
So,
right.
so like I said, it's just about being real. You could be when if I can be real with myself, I can sit here and look you eye to eye. And one thing about me, if I did it, I'll tell you I did it. If I didn't do it, nobody's not gonna make me say I did it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so like I said, when I was asked over and over again, did he do these things for you? Yeah. And I don't change my story. I say the same thing when he did it, how he did it, and what he said. So that's what continues to keep me on the battlefield. You're gonna get weary, but you just got to keep on pushing. You just got to keep on pushing. We didn't do all that time for no reason. You know what I'm saying? We had to go through something to be able to help somebody else. So, like I said, I'm originally from Florida, and I was sitting in the house in Daytona Beach, Florida, project area. And y'all, I had been up for about 2 weeks. I was so tired. I was looking like Tales from the Crypt.
Was that on June the 3rd,
Yeah,
2004?
yeah. I had been up for like 2 weeks, hadn't took no bath. So I was looking like Tales from the Crypt and was smelling like hot buttermilk because I didn't like water and water didn't like me. You know what I'm saying? But I give God the glory. And I was sitting in this kitchen and I just started writing. I was getting hot, but it's like I wasn't getting hot. I was sitting there doing the motions, but I wasn't feeling nothing. It was a totally different night that night. And I still had the clothes that I had on that night. The shirt, pair of shoes, a purse. And I don't know what I had on at the bottom. I pray to God I had something on, but I got them items left. Okay. And I remember I had a piece of paper in my purse and I started writing God a letter. See, I knew the Lord, but I had backslid. And you have some people talking about when I found Jesus. Jesus was never lost. I was the one that was in the crack house. But no matter where we at, his arms can reach us. So I just started writing him a letter. And I remember the girl came in to give me another hit. And I remember I said, next time you see me, I'll be clean and sober. And she laughed. And I went back to writing, took another hit, went back to writing, took another hit. And I'll never forget, I took that last hit. My lips was all blistered, fingers sore, eyelashes sore. I was just sore all over because I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired because I hadn't allowed men to take advantage of me, women to take advantage of me. I was taking advantage of myself. I was just tired. And, we have so many family members, you can stop, but they got to hit rock bottom. People can't tell you if it was me, I would have did this. You don't know what you would have done. You know what I'm saying? I used to laugh at people that smoke crack and pick at them, and I became the biggest crackhead there was. So that's why we had to be careful how we pick at people. And I remember I put the letter in my purse, and I walked out that crack house, and I checked myself back into the hospital, and I begged them. I said, don't release me until you find me a place. And so the next morning, they started doing my assessment. And she said, Blossom, are you willing to be relocated? I said, yeah. So it seemed like she was going about an hour. She was only going for like 15 minutes. And then she came back and she said, well, we got you a place in Miami. Now, I was scared. I said, because if I go down to Miami with these tricks and these games, they're going to kill me down there. So I got to go down there and do right. But you know what? God had to send me somewhere. Not like I said, I got some partners that got high in our hometown and got clean in our hometown. But see, I wasn't one of them. You got, like I said, you got to do, everybody got a different road they got to go to. We all got to walk, but we all got a different road.
And
why
you think it was so important that you had, like you said, people that got high and got in recovery at home. Why did you feel and know it was important for you to do yours outside of home?
Because you know what, like with Abraham, when God told him to leave his kinfolks, get from around the familiar. You know what I'm saying? I knew if I got away from people, places, and things, that I could do better. You know what I'm saying? And when I got down in Miami, everything I had heard about Miami was true. You know what I'm saying? And it scared, excuse my language, scared the hell out of me. So I had to get right. And I wanted to get right. So let's get that part right, because had and want is two different things. Because I tried to get clean and sober for my kids one time, church, man, mama. But today I stay clean and sober for Blossom. And I keep my sobriety in my heart, not in my mind, because our mind's a battlefield. Sometimes I be sitting here looking at the commercial, that nice cold beer, and I be saying, "Oh, that beer look good." Where the water be coming down, and then but you gotta,
yeah, you be
like,
you be almost having you.
yeah. But you know what? You got to play the tape all the way through. Don't stop at the good time. Now I had some good times out there. People don't know I didn't have a good time. I don't know what kind of dope they had, but I had some good times out there.
Right.
But so you got to be real about that thing. If I get high right now, I know I'm not gonna make it back. Either I'm going back to the penitentiary or somebody gonna end up killing me out there because it's 7 times worse. Okay. So God bless me. When I got down to Miami, I did my treatment. I stayed away from people, places, and things. God bless me. I started working for a research company. Now, the time I was supposed to be graduating to get my high school diploma, I beat this girl with my clarinet because she lied on me. One thing about me, I hate to be lied on because I had been lied on so many times as a child, saying that I had seduced, my abuser. You know what I'm saying? And I remember I beat her with my clarinet for lying on me, and they kicked me out of school. So I didn't get my diploma. So the year that I was supposed to be getting it, I got married to my first husband. He was in the military. So when I got down in Miami, God opened the door where I was able to start college. And they told me, they said, "Blossom, you're going to have to get your diploma. You won't be able to finish college." So I got my diploma. Then God bless me, I got married a second time down there. And then we moved here to Alabama. But I stayed away from the people, places, and things. Now, have I went through things since I've been clean sober? Yeah. I told my ex-husband, because he's my ex now, but we're good friends now. When we was living in Miami, I said, don't get me in Alabama and try to make a fool out of me. Well, he didn't listen, but he started cheating on me and brought another woman into our home. And I remember I cried out to the Lord, because I was the kind of crackhead. If a bird got hit, let's go get high. That's the kind of crackhead I was. So dealing with this issue about where he had cheated on me, I didn't want to go back to smoking crack. I'd rather for God to call me home before I go back, because I don't want to ever live that life again. Okay. Then after the divorce, I lost my home to foreclosure. Very first time buying a home, I lost the foreclosure due to divorce, and I couldn't pay all the bills for myself. But I didn't go back to getting high. Okay. Then third thing that happened, brand new car got repoed, but I didn't go back to getting high. As long as I don't go back to getting high, I'm doing just fine. All right. So that scripture that says Romans 8:28, that works everything we go through works for our good. Now God bless me. I went back to college. Now I'm a certified peer support specialist for drugs and for mental illness. So God opened the door. Now I work for the University of Alabama. I got an office. I'm sitting down working with other people on the street. So everything I had to go through, like I just said, we don't go through this stuff for ourselves. We go through it so we'll be able to help somebody else. Okay, so I am a nonprofit organization, which is called From Under a Bridge, Safe Haven Home for Women. I went before Habitat like 4 years ago and told them my story like I'm telling y'all. And I wanted them to build me a home for women that wanted to stay clean and sober. So she said, "Blossom," she said, "when you get your status, you get back in touch with me." And I'm not going to lie, I said, she ain't going to do nothing. But God bless me, I got my status, and I called her. She said, "Oh, Blossom, I forgot to call her." I said, "Yeah, I knew it. They ain't gonna do nothing." But I'm not bragging on me, but I'm bragging about the God that we serve. So they couldn't build the house for me, but they gave me some land. So I have my land, I got my blueprints, I got my building permit. I've been approved by God in the city that we get to house 6 women instead of 3 women. So now we're getting ready to start doing fundraising events. I got a contractor that wants to build a house for us. It's 3-bedroom, 2 bath, washer, kitchen, nook area, and they're going to supply all the appliances for $150,000. So now we're getting ready to do our fundraising event so we can get this house built for women that want to stay clean and sober, and they can stay up to a year. They have to work, because one thing with addicts, we have to be retaught. My way of keeping my power on, once they cut the power off, I will go to your house and get your meter. That's how I turn my power back on. So you got to teach us stuff so that we can get out there in society, so we won't have to keep going back in revolving doors. My LLC is called Tears from Under a Bridge, and that home will be for women and children that want to stay clean and sober.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, that's what my passion is, to help people and let people know. Yeah, we all. I did everything out there, but slept with an animal. And I'm telling you, the God heaven truth. I was on crack so bad. If they would have said, Blossom, I'll give you an ounce to sleep with Lassie, I would have done it. That's how bad of a crackhead I was. And so, by me sharing my story, I want people to know that it's nothing that you have done that somebody else haven't done. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to share our testimony so we'll be able to help somebody. Because, I had somebody, I thought I was the only one that a man left for another man. But when I shared that, this girl raised her hand up in the audience. I was like, oh, okay. And we can't worry about what people say. You have people frown their faces up and look like you're so disgusted. But long as God loves me, that's all that matters. So like I said, and I ain't shared everything. We are working on a movie deal. I just got finished doing the documentary in November. So that's in the process. But like I said, my passion and my dream is to get this home built for women. And that's my
Right.
story. So
Right.
what I did in the book is gonna be in the movie.
Right. So I want to go back to what you was talking about. You was like, even on this road to recovery, it hasn't been all peaches and cream. It ain't been easy. And you was like, some things happened. Like, you lost you got divorced. So your husband took you back up to Alabama and got to tripping. You
Mhm.
lost the house, you lost your car, but you said it didn't let you go back to smoking crack. What were some of the ways that you cope with or dealt with them situations? Because it's somebody out there right now that's going through something, but they don't want to go back to they drug to cope with it or to get rid of that pain for that short period of time real quick. So what were some of the ways that you cope with dealing with all them setbacks that was going on at the time?
First of all, I had to remind myself that it wasn't my fault. Okay, because you got to remember, as a child, I thought it was my fault that I was being molested. So, and then I cried out to the Lord. And I had people that laughed at me, and I had some people in the church that told me, "Oh, girl, he don't mean that. Just stay with him." But you know what? For a split second, I had thought about suicide. So I knew it was time for me to let that go. But you just got to be real. Women don't have to put up with that, and men don't either. Okay. I think I stayed in it for some time because I didn't want to go back to smoking crack. I was scared. I was like, Lord, well, maybe he'll change. But you know what? Who was unhappy? I was the one that was unhappy. And then when I went to the Lord and just cried, I just cried out to the Lord. I remember walking around the house, crying out to the Lord and asking the Lord to help me because I didn't want to go back. I played that tape all the way through. If I go back to getting high, I'm going to die out here. I don't want that. I want to live. And I remember I had to go back, sat down with a counselor, psychiatrist once a week, twice a week, whatever it took to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. People make it a stigma where, but if Elijah, which was a mighty prophet, if he got depressed, we gonna go through depression. You know what I'm saying? I was reaching every positive thing that I could. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I went through the embarrassment part. Yes, I went through the part where it was my fault, that he did this. But you know what? That was on him. That was on him. And then, like I said, it took me a minute now. I'm not gonna lie. I said I'm gonna be saved. I ain't gonna date no more. No, you can't stop living because somebody else decided they don't want to be with you no more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I just realized, and now, like my grandma would say, they don't miss their water until the well go dry. Now they want to get back together. The devil. One thing I've learned, and my grandma always taught me, you can chew gum and try to spit it on the ground. You can't pick it back up and think it's gonna have the same flavor. You understand what I'm saying? If something that hurts you, why you gonna go back to it? So I like I said, I've tried to date and I'm dating now, but I know what I'm worth. You know what I'm saying? And I used to think back in the days because what I saw, if a man, and let me get this right, I don't think like this now. But if a man didn't beat me, he didn't love me. You know what I'm saying? That's how my mind was. So we have to get positive stuff into our thinking. We got to make sure that we're around people that's going somewhere. And if the person's not pushing you to your destiny, don't let them pull you from it. You know what I'm saying? Girl, don't do that. I've had so many people say, girl, why would you write that book? Well, the book wasn't for me. The book was for somebody else because I've had Caucasian men and women come to me and tell me how your book blossomed because one thing, the way that you hear me speak is the way that the book reads. Because first of all, you got to reach people where they're at. If you see a woman out there on the street, I can't go to her with a big sequence hat on and a sequence dress. She's not gonna receive me. You gotta meet people where they're at. If you see somebody that's hungry, you can't walk up to him talking about Jesus love you. Feed him physically, then you can feed him spiritually. So that's where I'm at now. I'm still a minister, but I'm a thug. I come from the street. So you got to remember, we got people that sitting out there in the traps and if you ever notice, you see a lot of people on Facebook that can sing and they can preach because they got a calling on their life, and all they need is just somebody to believe in them. They might rob you, they might take from, because I did the same thing. But until that person is ready, you know what I'm saying? Only thing you can do is plant the seed, then somebody else will water it, somebody else will till. And that's what it's about. It takes a village, like it did back in the days, to raise kids. It's taking a village now to help people. So what I had to do when I went through that, I had to cry out to the Lord. And I had to go and start seeing a counselor until I got better. I'm not ashamed to say that. I'd rather did that than been out there in the graveyard or been back in the prison or been back up under a bridge smoking crack.
Right. And I'm glad you said that about the counselor and the therapist, because a lot of our people in our community that, they think, they still have the mentality and,
Yeah.
basically, what I'm saying, it stays in here. And that
Yeah.
not just only in the house, but it stays in here internally.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what really drives a person to commit crime or, get caught up in a condition, an addiction and everything else, what I'm saying? So a lot of times we look at stuff and back in the day and you say, what goes on in this house stays on this house. And then what was really happening was, it was staying in the house, but it was also staying in that person's house inside. Yeah. And that's what
and
it was really
and
killing the man.
That's why that's why they call it generational curses, because it's been passed down. You know what I'm saying? So God has raised me up in my family to break that generational curse, because my great grandmother who raised me, she had a baby at age 13. So, some molestation had been going on, and first thing they say, oh, he didn't mean that. Well, nobody can't help you if they haven't been delivered. You understand me? If you want to heal, you're going to have to feel. We're going to take that Band-Aid off, and you're going to have to feel what you went through so that you can be able to be healed, so you'll be able to help somebody else. So, like I said, when my book first came out, my first book, I was scared because I hadn't told a family secret. But you know what? When we stand before God, we're going to be accountable for not doing what he told us to do. You know what I'm saying? So that's what, my old gal, my mom was like, well, why are you there? I said, when I stand before him, I'm the one going to be accountable for not doing what he told me to do. So I'm not a millionaire yet. So you got to prophesy over yourself. You got to stop allowing the enemy to keep us bound. You know what I'm saying? The enemy's not mad now because we on this air talking about this kind of stuff. Somebody's going to be delivered, but we got to be able to help somebody to come from up under a bridge. Like I said, everybody got a bridge, but come from up under that bridge and live.
That's right. That's right. So now that, what I'm saying, you look back, if you can go back, what would you tell your younger self with what you know now?
Ooh, that's a good one. Don't be ashamed, and the reason I say that is because when I was a little girl, we was at a house party and I had the bowl of chips, passing around, and my cousin said, "Oh, sit down, baby, bubble lips." And I cried. I wanted a lip operation at a young age. But look at these people. They're going to get their lips blown up now. I got to put lipstick on, what I'm saying? So don't be ashamed. You know what I'm saying? Don't be ashamed. And because I was ashamed, that's why I was up under that bridge. As long as I went on, and you know what the strange thing was? Where I used to park my car at, it was open 24/7. People used to fish out there all times of night. But as long as I was up under that bridge, I never got into any kind of trouble. I would get in the back seat and go to sleep. And I would sleep in a fetal position. So now when I'm in my bed, I remind myself, straighten your legs out because you're not bound anymore. Because as long as I was Yeah, as long as I was holding that story in, I was bound. But when Jesus went to the cross, he freed us. So I had to remind myself, straighten your legs out. You're not bound, you know. And that's the truth. I didn't get in trouble unless I got in the front seat and went over to West Side. Nobody ever bothered me. Nobody ever tried to rape me. Nothing like that. Nobody tried to do anything to me. But I was peaceful. I had so much of peace up under that bridge. And so, like I said, when I go back home now and I visit the bridge, you know, it's some people still up under there, people still fishing, but I look out at the water, you know what I'm saying? And that's the same river that when my brother drowned, his body floated down that same river that I used to, the bridge I used to sleep up under. So and I didn't know that for a long time. But like I said, this we gotta stay free. We got to stay free. Mentally, we got to stay free because it's hard. Time is hard. I think my worst time was doing time and trying to hold on to a relationship. My time ended up doing me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Jail time. When I was in rehab, you know, when I'm doing time or when we doing time, our family's doing time with us. You know, so like I said, now I got too old. I can't chop no more trees. I ain't gonna go back out.
And like you said, our family, when we do time, our family does do time with us. And I remember you
Right.
earlier, you was talking about, trying to make that transition back into your children's life after all this, So I know with me, it was kind of like they was in their teenage years or they had graduated. So it wasn't like I could just pop into your lives and be the daddy
Mm-hmm.
and it's my time. Like I had to navigate and really get on their time, whenever they
Right.
had time for me. Was
Right.
it like that for you?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. And then you know what? And by me being a woman, you know, so and I got all boys, so you know they didn't want to hear that kind of stuff out their mama, and they would see me in the streets, they'd break out running. You know, I used to cry to every man, "What are you looking like? Tales from the Crypt? Of course, some boys gonna run from you, you know." But now, after 16 years, I got a relationship with them. My grandbabies, and then like I said, my great grands. Some of my friends didn't get to see their children grow up, but God bless me, I got great grandkids. So,
Mm,
and I want to leave a legacy for them. I don't want them to always say, "Well, my mama or my grandma used to smoke crack," but what did she do with the rest of her life? You know what I'm saying? So that I want to leave a legacy for them. Let them know that yeah, I smoked dope, but this is what God had me to do with the rest of my life. So that's what
okay.
it is. Mm-hmm.
So, one word that would describe this whole journey.
Um, change. Some of us don't like to change, but you gotta. If you want better, you're gonna do better, and that's gonna take some change.
All right. We got a question right here from somebody that's tuning in. I'm gonna bring it up on the screen. It says
Okay.
it's from Shayna. It says, "What wisdom do you share with men and women who are scared to move on from a toxic relationship?"
It's that's a good question because, like I said in the beginning, I felt like if a man didn't beat me, he didn't love me. Um, you got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. If it's not taking you, if you're not accomplishing nothing, you gotta want something better. You know, I had taste some goodness, you know what I'm saying? And then when I went back, I missed that goodness. So, you know, you gotta want to change. You got to. You got to. It's either because if you don't, somebody gonna end up dying, you know, and you see how many relationship people are getting in, somebody's getting killed in it and all that kind of stuff, you know, and but you got to want to change. You got to. You got to. And I'm not saying that the person might not change, but you got to think about yourself. You can only person that you can change is you. That's the only thing. That's how I started smoking crack because I was trying to change him, and it ended up changing me. So change.
Right. And so, any final message that you'd like to give to someone out there who might tune into this tomorrow or that's tuned in now?
Um, get the book and read it so you won't have to go through what I've been through. You understand me? You know, so you won't have to go through the same road and come from up under the bridge. There's nothing up under there. That's old relationships. That's drugs, that's alcohol, that's anything that's taking you from out of being the person that you're supposed to be. Come from up under your bridge and live. And you're gonna have to feel if you want to heal. You got to. If you don't, like I said, you know how them old people say, go out there and play that little dirt to help it heal. But nowadays people want to put a band-aid over it. Snatch that band-aid off and feel so that you can heal.
That's right. And so go ahead and tell them the name of the books and where they can find the books.
Okay, the name of my books are called From Under a Bridge 1, From Under a Bridge 2. My third book is called And They Laugh, and my fourth book is called When They Laugh. If you ever need me, give me a call on 305-753-8164. Hit me up on Facebook, Blossom Rodgers. And like I said, come from up under your bridge and live. Walk over your bridge to your destiny. That's what I got to say.
That's right. Come from up under your bridge and live. I mean, I think that says it all.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on as a guest tonight, sharing your story, sharing your knowledge and information. Anything that we can do, just feel free to drop knowledge and information in the group. Reach out to people in the group. We have a lot of great people that's on the same journeys that came from the same type of environment that are doing positive things, and we like to everybody to sit together and saying look out for each other and push each other. So if you ever got something positive to say or bring it to the group, just go ahead and throw it in there. If you want to
Okay.
network with people in the group, like I said, we got a lot of speakers so far that shared similar stories, that's doing amazing things, just like you as well. You can network and connect with them people inside of the group as well. But I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story.
I appreciate you because when I hit you up, you didn't hesitate. Only thing you asked me, have been to prison. I said, yeah, and you went off with it. You know what I'm saying? So I thank you for that um, um, because you was obedient. God's gonna bless you for allowing me to come on your platform, and you continue to keep doing this because you're helping so many people. And may God bless you.
And God bless you as well. You have a great night.
All right, thank you.
All right.